Yes, Ms. Sigels-Ncube.
Thank you, Chair. I'm about to move to another topic, so
Maybe before you do so, General, let's just conclude on the issue of the loan. Remember you said in early November 2024, you needed to sell some of your cattle to pay back some of the money to Mr. Matlala.
Yes,
Do you remember that?
I remember, Commissioner.
Yes, and you say the proceeds were approximately 20,000 rand,
Yes,
and that's what you paid to Mr. Matlala.
yes,
Yes, we have gone through your bank statements covering the period from September until December 2024. And it appears to us that you did not really need to sell your cattle, because if you go to page 50 of file 4, are you there, General?
yes,
And I know you know how accounts work. So you'll see that the second entry there, the first one is the balance brought forward. And then the second entry there shows that on the 4th of November 2024, there's a purchase at Gucci Senton for 19,500 rands. Do you see that?
yes,
And then it reflects, obviously, in your statement on the 6th of November 2024. Do you see that?
yes,
Yes. And it suggests to us, at least, that you were not in desperate need of cash, and you did not need to sell cattle to pay Mr. Matlala, because you had enough funds in your bank accounts to even make these luxury purchases. Do you want to comment?
hold on.
General, maybe either Commissioner Kumalo, who is very good at finding documents here, or even the evidence leaders may assist you with what you are looking for.
Yeah, I was trying to look for something. I was not sure if it was during that particular year or whatever. So I have found it, but it is relevant to that. Because
But, sorry, but it was what?
I found it. I've established that it is relevant to that. On page 24 of the same bundle, there was a time where I was in town, and then with a friend who was buying a suit for a wedding of the son, and he forgot his banking details. Then I did swipe for him the 53, and he sent it back. I was looking into that one, if it is not extra in that particular month, but it was in the previous year, not that one. It was in 2023. Because I remember we at Zegna, he was buying a suit going to overseas, and he forgot his card, and then the secretary transferred.
I'm sure you know that advert that says, no, it's not a suit, it's a Zegna.
It's a...
You don't call it a suit, it's a Zegna.
Yeah, I'm not used to it, so I call it suit.
It is a suit to all of us, but people who know it say, you must distinguish it from other suits.
Yes, no, I'm back on page 50, where the turkeys were purchased of 19,500.
General, just so you understand the simple point, you had enough money in your bank account to make these luxury purchases, such that even after the purchase of sneakers at Gucci Sentin, you were still left with 55,000, even after that purchase, which just shows that there was no need for a loan. There was certainly no need to sell your cattle to repay the loan to Mr. Matala. That is really the simple proposition that is being put to you. Even if you go to the previous month, you will see that you making purchases at Louis Vuitton in Sentin again, nowhere near the 20,000. It's obviously much less on page 48. It's the 6th entry on that page. The 5th one, I'm sorry. So,
The 5th of?
if you go to the, it's the same month. The statements go back and not forward. If you go to page 48, during the same month, there's another purchase, but this time it's at Louis Vuitton, Sentin. Do you see that? And that's even before your salary reflects in your bank account. Before your salary reflects at the end of that month.
Which number is that?
Entry number 5 on page 48. The date is 29 October 2024, sorry.
Yeah.
Do you see that? And it shows that in the same month that you made the purchase at Gucci Sentin, you made another purchase at Louis Vuitton Sentin. But even after those two purchases, even before your salary reflects in your bank account, you are still left with 47,900 rand.
Yeah.
Which just shows that, there was no need to sell cattle, there was no need to, and sorry, I said it's the same month, it's the prior month, I think it's 6 days earlier.
May I respond?
Yes.
Yeah, you see the Louis Vuitton, they're 3,300. I was buying sandal, and there's no sandal worth that amount in Louis Vuitton. No, I'm telling you, the sandal were 17,000. On the 23rd of October, it was my birthday party. I thought the evidence leader is going to talk about it because it was there on the chat where I put the present the friends bought to me. There was a Louis Vuitton bag and a small bag. In that big bag was having that small bag, which was a wallet. So I took the wallet to exchange it for the sandals, and I paid the difference of the 3,300. The 3,300. So that is what happened. So it is not to say really I wanted to buy the sandal. It was like they bought me something expensive which was not worth value for me. I took it back and took something which I could wear. And even though it was a present for my birthday party, I think there were 3 presents from different friends. So I even forwarded that to Nkosi to say, hey, they bought me present, it's only you who didn't buy me present. I saw it there, I thought they were going to ask me about it because they saw Gucci and whatsoever.
But General, I don't want this discussion to be about the specific purchases that were made. The
Yes.
simple proposition we are putting to you is that your bank statements show that you did not need a loan, and you certainly did not need to sell any of your cattle to pay Mr. Matlala, because at the end of October, you make this purchase before your salary reflects in your bank account. You still have a balance of 47,000. That excludes the overdraft facility of 44,000. So you have at least 90,000 available to you at the end of that month. If you go to the November month, you have in excess of 90,000 rands available to you. In December, because of I don't want to mention your bonus publicly, but you have a lot of money. You certainly did not need the loan, and you did not need to sell any of your cattle to pay Mr. Matlala back.
But I think there would be no issue at all. The more than 100,000 rand that you were paid in December being mentioned, because you mentioned that amount yourself.
Yes, of the 130 which I get in December, yes.
Well, in the interest of time, I don't want us spending 10 minutes on what is a fairly straightforward proposition.
No, that's why I was listening. I thought you were still talking. And I wanted to say I did respond to the chairperson.
Just remind us again, now answering what I've put to you, and
Yeah,
then we can give that
That
time back.
as I decided I wanted to use money to building something, I thought I mustn't use the money which will be loaned to me, I'll be use it and then I'll pay it in December. So that is what I decided.
Then it doesn't explain the Gucci and Louis Vuitton purchases, because it shows that you had money for those things.
I explained for the Louis Vuitton and for the Gucci, I was buying back the person who bought me a Gucci.
Okay.
Thank you, Commissioner. General, I want to move on to a new topic.
Can I just ask, Ms. Sigals-Mude, we've got in front of us a document. Do we pack it away or will you come back to it?
Yes, Commissioner, we'll deal with it after lunch once the General has had an opportunity to consider it with his team.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. General, just before I deal with the new topic, I know you said earlier on, and probably out of frustration, that we are trying to push a narrative. I can assure you that we are not. And you will recall that in our engagements, you had indicated your displeasure at how a certain issue was addressed regarding the Musa Kaula matter, that you were not satisfied with the withdrawal of the allegation that was, or the proposition that was put before the Commission, that you were the person that sent the WhatsApp message that said Chomi. Do you recall that?
Yes, ma'am.
And when I spoke to you yesterday, you had indicated that you were not that happy with how it was addressed. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. It wasn't our intention, General, to make light of the fact that that was actually a withdrawal. So I do want to place it on the record, Chair, that during the evidence of Sergeant Nkosi, and you will recall that when you met with Mr. Chaskelson before you gave your evidence, he did indicate that he would rectify this publicly. That during the evidence of Mr. Nkosi, an incorrect proposition was put by Mr. Chaskelson to Mr. Nkosi that the message, I don't know if Ms. Poe can display it, the message that refers to Chomi, don't run the story, you recall that? That was in fact a message that was sent from you to Mr. Kaula, correct? That is what the proposition was.
Yes.
And that, Mr. Chaskelson indicated to you was an incorrect proposition. And in fairness to Mr. Chaskelson as well, in that discussion, he also said to you that your good friend, Sergeant Nkosi, ought to have corrected him and said to him it's not the correct proposition, but Sergeant Nkosi didn't do so. You heard that evidence, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. So I do want to place it on record that it is incorrect. You were not the person that sent that message that said Chomi. And Mr. Chaskelson did tender an apology to you regarding that.
I remember.
Thank you, General.
Thank you, Commissioner.
So that should put that matter to bed. Now, if we can deal, and Mr. Chaskelson had asked me to address that. Now, if we can deal with what actually does concern you. I just want to understand from you, and you will tell me if my understanding of your evidence is incorrect. It seems to me that from the start of your career, very early on, you seem to have taken to the role of detective quite naturally. That seems to be where you are most comfortable. Is that a correct observation?
Yes, from the college I decided to go to detectives.
And you seem to have occupied a role insofar as investigations and detective is concerned for the majority of your career.
That's correct.
Okay. Now, it seems that it's something that it's a badge of honor, because when General Sabia was here, he also said that many of the people that are accusing him are not even detectives, they're not investigators. So do you agree that it seems to be that it's a badge of honor that you wear that to be a detective?
Yes, I take it as an honor.
Okay. I'm hoping that throughout our engagement today, I will actually understand why it is a badge of honor, and because it seems to me that it is something that the both of you identify with. Now, if I understood your evidence correctly, you were the acting component head from 18 December 2023.
That is correct.
For organized crime.
That is correct.
And that role came about because, if I understood, General Sabia and General Sentimule had approached you to take over, to find out if you were interested in that role, because they didn't have a head in organized crime because General Sabia had been promoted to DNC.
That is correct.
And then sometime in May 2024, you then occupied it as a permanent position.
That is correct.
Okay. Now, that role is a national role.
That is correct.
And in your evidence, when you were dealing with the SWAT investigation and how you got involved effectively in the SWAT investigation sometime in May of 2024, you said that you had tried to contact General Mbuso Kumalo.
Yes.
And he would be the provisional head of organized crime.
No.
What is provincial, sorry?
He's a deputy provincial commissioner responsible for crime detection.
Okay.
So all those components falls under him.
Okay. And so why were you trying to get hold of him?
Yeah, I was trying to relay that information I got from the source to him, so that he can take appropriate steps, for example, to request for the threat risk assessment for the members and also ensure that they get proper protection.
Okay, I don't really recall your evidence as to whether you dealt with whether you eventually got hold of him.
Yeah, I think the phone rang for some seconds. I can't remember if he said he was in a meeting and we couldn't talk. And I thought he would come back to me. And then it didn't happen that he came back to me. Then I went to the person responsible for organized crime,
And who was that?
Brigadier Hopan.
Okay, so you never had a conversation with General Mbuso Kumalo about the threats that you were aware of on
No.
the investigators?
No.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify that. Now, your role as the component head, I'm not entirely sure what it entailed because you said that you weren't involved directly in investigations at that point. Correct?
Yes.
So it's more supervisory.
Yes.
And somewhere in your witness statement, you refer to it as ongoing interaction with intelligence structures. Would that be like crime intelligence?
That's correct.
And you also referred, if you go to file 1, which is your statement, page 14, at paragraph, I think it's 35.
I'm there.
Okay. There you say my involvement in matters referenced paragraph 35 before the commission must be understood within the context of long-standing operational policing responsibilities, lawful engagement with investigative source, and then command oversight of complex investigations. Are you referring there to your role as the component head? So we must consider your evidence and your role before the commission in light of your role as the component head and what it is that you were doing at the time.
It's paragraph 112.
No, 35. Page 14, paragraph 35.
Yeah, we know this. I'm there, ma'am.
Yes, so paragraph 35 is where, in the previous paragraphs, you were dealing with your role as a component head, etc. And then you say, when we are looking at your involvement in the matters referenced before the commission, it must be understood with the context. So are you referring to the context of your role as the component head at the time?
That's correct.
Okay. And at paragraph 33, you speak about your engagements with intelligence reports and registered sources.
Yes.
I just want to understand what you meant by intelligence reports. Is that internal or is it something that comes from outside to you?
No, from the Division Detective Service, we don't have intelligence. The intelligence is a division on itself. So as I was indicating, on monthly basis, the crime intelligence will develop the crime threat analysis, where they are indicating more especially for our side as organized crime, but they are doing it holistically to all the environments for crime prevention, to see what crime is happening where and what type of commodities are being taken and suspects which were previously arrested, and modus operandi indicates it can be similar syndicates and what type of syndicate we are having. That will come to us to say they have identified a criminal grouping in a certain area, and then that is where during the knocks I will then ask the province to say, based on this, your threats in your province is this and that, but the projects you have registered are dealing with this. They actually are not addressing your threat at your responsible provinces. And then, okay, this one and this one is identified. That is where you were needed to do the profiling to check if ever these people are not wanted and what is the status of their cases. Those which were withdrawn, does they have a potential of being resuscitated and what is outstanding? Sometimes you will find out some case because of delay in receiving forensic reports, they just close it instead that they were not supposed to close it because when they receive it, it must still continue. But you find out they are closed and withdrawn as such. Then the intelligence reports, which I'm talking about, it in that regard, on quarterly basis, we are having the knocks with all the provinces, and crime intelligence will present to us those intelligence relating to, unless it is imminent, it's somebody whom we need to address because there is new cases which have happened and they have identified through sources and intelligence that these people, there is tangible evidence which we can now, or empirical evidence which we can now say there is a prima facie case for us to go and arrest them.
Okay, I think I understand that. So on the 16th of May 2024, when you have the meeting with the, I'm going to refer to them as the SWAT investigators, the SWAT murder investigators. That meeting was, you had called that meeting, but there was also another meeting that you were already going to have with, was it Colonel Mukwena, on the Murray murders?
That one I was supposed to have with Brigadier, and the Brigadier was absent from office. And Colonel Mukwena is one who works under, I can say, second in charge for that matter. Then he phoned on the 14th to say, I won't be available. The members are going to come alone to brief you. I think there was Mr. Kyle Cohen from News 24 who was representing the family and a lawyer. On monthly basis, they will come, we give them progress report, and I check if they have done any progress or what we advised previously to say this and that need to happen, it has been done. So they were supposed to be there 11 o'clock. And then Colonel Mukwena happened to be having engagement at Kempton Park Court with the senior public prosecutor, so he couldn't come. The 3 warrant officers and the sergeant came, and Mr. Cohen also came, and then we had the meeting. It ended around past 12 to 1, I think. Yeah.
Okay, so these are routine meetings that you have as the component head where you, in the Murray murders instance, you did it because there was a complaint by the family that there wasn't progress or something to that effect?
Yes, the complaint was sent to the office of the Deputy National Commissioner. Then the Deputy National Commissioner reined me in with the team and the brigadier and the family representative and whatever, because there was a feud also between some of the family and the investigators. Then we sat down, I was briefed about the case, I gave directives, and we agreed that we give them chance to investigate for 3 weeks, and after every 3 weeks we will meet in my office to give feedback.
Okay, when you say Deputy National Commissioner, you're referring to General Sabia?
That is correct.
Because there is more than one Deputy National Commissioner.
Yeah, Deputy National Commissioner Crime Detection.
Okay, thank you. So that was the Murray murder investigations.
That's correct.
The SWAT murder investigations, the need for that meeting arose because of information you had received from a source.
Yes.
Okay. Prior to that, you were not involved in the investigation.
No, I was not involved, and I was not informed either. I didn't know about it.
Okay. And at the time that you get the information from the source, I understand you then spoke, you wanted to try and get hold of General Mbuso Kumalo to tell him, and then you also called Brigadier Hopani. Did you tell her about the intelligence that you had received from the source?
Yeah, we discussed a little to say I've got information about a threat against him. Your investigators investigating a case of murder whereby a white person was killed. I didn't know, I didn't have the details. And 3 suspects were arrested. One of the suspects is a police officer. I didn't have the details either of that. And you didn't inform me. She indicated, no, I thought I put it on the WhatsApp because we're having a WhatsApp group where they are reporting so that we can know. The reason for that is so that when there is a media inquiry from head office, from the minister or whatever, then the DIFCOM will ask me as the component head to say, they said, your team is investigating this, what is happening, so that we may be able to account in that particular time. So hence I was asking. So when I told her about the threat and that there is intended bribery, she told me that no, about this case, there was a drama in court, and I had to send my TRT, the TRT and my tracking team to go and assist in transporting the members. But we ended there to say, no, I must speak to Colonel Mukwena because those members resort under him, and he will know better about it, and she was, by the way, not available.
Yes, I recall that. And then you then called Colonel Mokwena and you met somewhere to discuss the matter. I think you said at 7 o'clock. Was it that same evening that you received the information from the source?
That is correct.
And what day would that have been? The 14th?
The 14th.
Okay. So the 14th of May was when the source gave you the information?
Yes.
Okay. And you then met with Colonel Mokwena?
Yeah, I phoned Colonel Mokwena and he indicated he was somewhere in Pretoria attending court and he's en route back home to West Rand. And I said, okay, I'm also about to leave the office because it was around 5 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And then I'm also staying in the West Rand. I said we can meet somewhere along the way. And then we agreed to meet at a garage called Uncle Harry's. There's a restaurant there.
Yes, I recall that. I just want to establish who it is that you spoke to about the information that you got from the source. So you didn't get to speak to General Mbuso Kumalo about it,
No.
but you intended to tell him about it. You spoke to Brigadier Hopani, but you only informed her about the intended bribery or the attempted bribery and about the threats.
Yes.
None of the information about it being contract killers or anything like that.
No.
Yes. That wasn't your evidence,
I can't
yes.
remember if I went into detail to tell her the people arrested are contract killers, but I remember the person I relayed that information was the colonel.
Yes, you told Colonel Mokwena.
Yeah, the colonel and the members, yes.
Okay. Now, why did you have to meet with Colonel Mokwena? Why didn't you just inform him over the phone like you intended to do, like you did with Brigadier Hopani and intended to do with General Mbuso Kumalo?
Yeah, not necessarily I was going to tell them telephonically. I told the brigadier that I would have liked her to come on that meeting of the 16th with that particular team so that after this other meeting we can discuss that one. That was my proposition to her. So not necessarily I wanted to tell her on the phone or to tell General Kumalo. For General Kumalo, it was about to notify him and probably have a meeting with his people and the people of CI. Because my experience in this thing is when you want a threat risk assessment to be done, more especially it was concerning the province. The province has got a provincial head of crime intelligence, who is a general, and they've got legs where there's brigadiers who maybe is in charge of counter. What you do, you write an application. Sometimes the application must be signed by the GPC or approved by the PC. It goes to the general. And then in the meantime, if it's urgent, already the general or crime intelligence would have sent the operatives to go and do the risk assessment on itself. Because sometimes the security needed is imminent. And that is what I emphasize, that even before that can happen, the better you put some sort of security around them, not working alone or going to fetch these people alone and so forth. Because remember, what I got was information which needed to be confirmed.
Yes, we'll get to that. And so when you speak to Colonel Mokoena, he then tells you, yes, there was an incident that happened at court. Or is that Brigadier Khopane?
It was Brigadier Khopane.
And you were already told at that point that the detectives have been given some form of security in light of that.
To take the people from court to the correctional center.
Yes, but you were suggesting that there must be something more now in light of the information that you had received.
Yes, I think it deserves to have a threat risk assessment whereby the whole information will be investigated to verify if it is true, and those other allegations of people who need to be investigated and inquiry will be opened based on the threat assessment, and then other investigated, allocated. That was my take, because I said it's not objective that you, person involved, the threat is against you by these people, you investigate that particular person. Sometimes you meet with them, then you don't know how will you behave and what will happen. And again, certain evidence you gather, it will be questioned to say, actually, you wanted to make them to see it to be like that, because I know I was involved in many of these.
Okay, thanks, General. So I just wanted to understand your evidence insofar as what it is that you did before the 16 May meeting, and we'll get to that meeting. I just want to deal with some of the things that you address regarding infiltration and your personal experience. You mentioned on page 21 of your statement, at paragraph 59, it actually starts at paragraph 58. You recall the Maswangani murder, where you said that you were the lead investigator.
I'm there at page 29.
Page 21.
21. I'm there.
You had given evidence about your experience as the lead investigator in the Maswangani murder. Do you recall that?
That's correct.
And there you had given evidence about how the registered source there was one of the people that actually ended up being arrested and convicted in respect of the very crime that you were investigating.
Yes.
Okay. And there was also a police officer that was arrested.
That's correct.
In that matter, were the hit orderers ever arrested?
No.
Okay, and is it still an ongoing investigation?
Yes, you know where it is told is the people who were linked to be maybe the orchestrators or the handlers. They were now somewhere in Nigeria, and through our police attaché we tried. And in that particular time, we could manage to get the address through BlackBerry in Dubai, because his phone which he was using was a BlackBerry, and you can't delete the BlackBerry profile. So I didn't remove his number from my number. I could see now he's got this new profile saying Queen of Africa, and then we followed up and we found out there is a number using it. But unfortunately, it was our own MTN, recurring people with one address, and and it's mostly rural. We couldn't get anywhere.
So the short answer is no.
Yeah, no,
Okay.
we finished the case at the High Court by sentencing those 4. Out of 6, we sentenced 4. One became 105. The other 3 were sentenced for life, and the other 2 matter were withdrawn against them.
Okay. In that matter, you talk about how you had to go into a safe house due to the threats that had been that you had received.
That's correct. After threat analysis, and then they give the level of threat, and the only thing we saw fit, which will preserve us and preserve our information and everything, is a safe house. Because
Yes.
when you will be staying there together, including your crime intelligence, including your combat people who will be guarding you, going out with you and doing investigation, because you will still continue doing investigation. And it minimizes people compromising information, because the counter will be following you, because when I want to see who's following you, I must follow you. And crime intelligence we're using was from outside Gauteng, was from Free State, because of that reason.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have to take that one so that we can be protected, and we know we are one thing, we belong to. And the reporting lines, it became shorter because it becomes a project. Only a project manager on need-to-know basis can go and report, because after reporting to senior manager, you found the defense knows about what you discussed behind closed doors at the court.
Yes, you did give evidence about that. And in that matter, were you ever offered a bribe by anyone that was involved in the murder?
Offered a bribe.
Yes.
Actually, there was attempt through other people, and they couldn't reach us because we were so close, and there were people hired to come and eliminate us. And because we formed another team to counter the threat, and those people were arrested, and only to find there were police officers also, those people, but matter was, due to insufficient evidence, was end up being withdrawn.
General, I was just asking whether you had been offered a bribe in that matter, whether you had been subjected to an attempt to bribe you, because of course we're talking about you using this as an example to show infiltration and how officers can be compromised. I'm just trying to establish, you speak about the safe house, you speak about the threats. So I'm not suggesting that you were, I'm just asking, were you, as the lead investigator, was there an attempt to bribe you?
No, I was not offered personally, but there is a case which I cited of a prosecutor where a police officer is still under witness protection for the past 4 years, where he was offered a bribe of 100,000, and the prosecutor and those other police were arrested, or other people. Mine was not a serious one, was a robbery case where I was offered a bribe, and I ended up arresting that person. It was not this one.
Okay, thank you, General. Now I want to also, just to place it on record, you also deal with an instance on page 23 of your statement at paragraph 67, where public procurement plays a role in financing the criminal syndicates that attempt or infiltrate, try to infiltrate the criminal justice system, correct?
Yes.
Okay. I want to explore with you ways in which, and I'm going to call the person, let's say, a compromised officer, police officer. The ways in which a compromised officer would go about trying to influence an investigating officer who's investigating a crime. So you could have a situation where the compromised officer could inquire from the IO about a case that has nothing to do with the compromised officer. He shows a particular interest in the matter that he's not involved in. Do you agree with me?
Yes.
And then you can have a situation where the officer, they may already have a relationship of trust, and he shows concern for their safety, for the IO safety, and says to them, you must watch out for yourself. Do you agree with me? That could be a way of trying to endear themselves to the investigating officer.
I agree with the first one.
Which one is that?
The one that you come near the investigators and try to make as if you are assisting or trying to know what is happening. But the second one that you try to assist them to stay safe.
No, General, let me interrupt you because you are preempting what I'm going to ask you at the end. I'm not there. I'm exploring with you ways in which that can happen. And maybe if I can ask you to put on your detective cap.
Yes.
And not your General Shabiri before the commission cap for this exercise, okay? And as somebody that has been exposed to this, I'm not trying to trick you, I promise you, I'm not. What I want to establish from you is ways in which a compromised officer can endear themselves to an investigating officer in order to influence that investigating officer to compromise an investigation. Now I'm asking you, is it a possibility that a compromised officer would go to an investigating officer and say, sure, I heard that there are guys that are after you, you must be careful. In fact, I think go and get a threat and risk assessment because this thing is dangerous. Like, how's it going? What's happening with the investigation? Showing a concern for safety, but also trying to endear themselves to get information from them at a later stage. Are you saying that that could never happen? It's not a possibility?
I never experienced such a thing. Where I've experienced is they will try to work with the person, either to lure him to meet with the perpetrators, to befriend them in order for them to be captured or to be compromised. But that one, I never met it because I don't think it is an easy one. Unless the one I have seen is when they were going to be hit on the police and this other one will be with them. But automatically it was already cultivated there. And when the hit happens, he will be the only one who is not harmed and the others been harmed. But the scenario you are giving, I never experienced it, and I'm not saying it is not possible, but I never experienced that, and it is rare.
Okay. Could you have a situation where the compromised officer tests whether the investigating officer is susceptible to a bribe by saying, I heard that there is a bribe out there if you are willing to not oppose bail or if you are willing to hide evidence? You've heard of a situation like that?
That happens if they know each other. That might happen if they know each other. But when they don't know each other, I don't see it being easy to happen, because how do you start from a person you don't know?
Yes, well, wouldn't a bribe, you would have it in two situations, potentially even more. There is the overt way of doing it. If you know the person, you trust the person, you know the person to already be somebody that is susceptible, so you'll say to them, listen, so-and-so told me that there's 10,000 Rand available for you if you just lose the docket.
Yeah.
That is direct.
Yeah, it's direct, it's not overt. Overt meaning you must go to a person and then gain trust first.
Yes.
And thereafter you can propose to say, hey, these guys, I met these guys, you remember that case, and then these guys, they are indicating this and that. And then that might happen.
Yes, and then you can have where it's indirect, like isn't that covert, a covert operation, where you endear yourself with the person, show interest in their safety, show interest in what's happening with them, and then at some point say, there's an informer that told me that there's a bribe available?
I never experienced that one because I don't know how will it carry out, because obviously if you involve yourself in that manner, meaning you'll be prepared to go all the way to assist and then work with them daily or whatever and provide more information relating to the matter. So that happened prior to any other crime happens. In most instances, the people who will be sent will be the people who will be easy for that person to interact with, in terms of they won't be exposed easy and their motive cannot be seen easier. For example, if a prosecutor approaches and said, hey, in this case there is this and that and that and that, I think there's no enough evidence or whatsoever, we can do this and that and that, and these guys are offering this. But also it's a risk because you don't know the type of a person you are dealing with. Because I believe majority of police officers are not corrupt out there, and they are doing their level best. And I don't see that being so easy. But it never happened. I'm not saying it didn't happen in another world where I don't know. Maybe it happened.
General, just as a concept, isn't what Ms. Sigal Ncube describing what you would call cultivation or cultivating?
Yeah.
Because she put a scenario where somebody befriends and in time it develops into a conversation about corrupt conduct. I thought that's what you described as cultivating.
Yeah, I tried to describe previously to say what is cultivation, taking it from our side when you cultivate an agent. So meaning you will send somebody to go and befriend these people, work with these people, they gain trust on you, and then for future use or for planned things which are still coming or for the exact thing which is happening, and then on the later stage, you can be in the able position to propose something to them. So the cultivation is about that, sending somebody in, and then that person works with the people, goes out with the people, gain trust from those people. Later on, when he proposes something, it won't be seen as something sinister or questionable. So that is how we do when we want to penetrate. We first do the cultivation to infiltrate, be within, go with them. We do that mostly when we use agents, so to say, because even in that case of Maswanganye, the people who were supposed to eliminate us, some were sent to work with us.
Well, sorry, I mean, it's not my conversation. It's just that with this new explanation, then you make me question my understanding of your evidence yesterday. When you first testified, and it was under the heading, the nature, extent, and consequence of infiltration and influence, in your statement, and at paragraph 70, you were listing the different ways in which syndicates, infiltration, in fact, you were describing how infiltration of the police happens, and then at 79, you then list the different ways that crime syndicates influence law enforcement, and one of them was recruitment or cultivation. And then I asked you, what is cultivation? And you said befriending police to corrupt them. So I was saying, I understand Ms. Sigal Ncube to be putting that kind of scenario to you, that someone can make an approach that looks completely innocent to the police, including a colleague, and in time elevate that discussion that started off innocently to even a statement like, oh, I understand there are bribes that are available, without saying I'm offering you a bribe or somebody's offering you a bribe, but just saying, oh, I understand, just to suss them out, to sound them out, whether they would be amenable to particular conduct.
Yeah, the simplest one I can say in cultivation, in Uarchambo Airport and Kempton Park, we had a similar thing whereby the Nigerian will propose to the new constables and then and cultivate them to those people who are investigating the narcotics so that they have information firsthand of what is happening inside and so forth. So hence I was just trying to indicate is by recruitment of members inside, or you send members from outside to be within the inside as individual members, and it is not happening like as a whole capture of the whole police. So it happens in all the environment, but including at uniform and whatsoever. So that is what I was trying to explain.
Thank you.
Thank you, General. Can we go then to see what happened on the 16th of May 2024 during your meeting with the investigators?
Yes, ma'am.
And that is on page 55, file 1. And it starts at paragraph 174.
This is file 1. I'm 55. I'm there.
General, at 174, you set out about meeting with the investigators, which were 3 investigators. It was witness A, B, and Sergeant Ndlela, correct?
Yes.
And you then informed them about the information you had received from the source. Now, at 174, you say, I informed them that the accused were considered dangerous contract killers and that there were alleged attempts to bribe investigators, prosecutors, and or the magistrate. Now, you speak about alleged attempts to bribe. I just want to understand, alleged attempts, were there attempts to bribe, or are there allegations that there may be, because alleged seems to say might be, you're not certain.
Yes, I used these words interchangingly because the information was, remember, the attorney is already given a bag full of money, who must approach the investigators. If he fails, the prosecutors or the magistrate, because that is how disparate they showed that they want these people out on bail. So, not knowing why must they go on bail, because even if they are on bail, the case remains. And the case remains. So, hence I used that, but it was an allegation from a source that already a lawyer is given a bag full of money. And I think I mentioned also the name of the lawyer, which was mentioned to me.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Now, can we go to RS10, which is in the annexure bundle, which is file 2, and it is on page 50, 50.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have it?
Yes, I have it.
You'll recall that this is the statement of Sergeant Ndlela that you had provided as an annexure to your statement.
Yes.
Which is the written statement that was, I think it's the 7th of July. 2025, right? That's
Yeah.
the one you were referring to. In paragraph 4, he deals with the meeting, and he says, on our arrival at General's office, he informed us on how sensitive and dangerous is this case and how connected are the suspects. He further informed us that he got the information that the suspects are planning to bring a bag full of money for us so that they can be freed, failing which a hit is coming for us.
I said,
Do you confirm his recollection of what you said to them?
he wrote it is in his own words, but it's not how I said it.
Okay, you didn't mention a bag full of money.
I did.
Okay, so where's the difference?
The difference is where it says the heat is coming for you.
Okay, there wasn't, are you saying that you didn't tell them about a hit?
No, I'm saying how it is phrased. It's different to how I said it.
Okay, what do you recall how you said it?
I said there will be a bribe brought to you, and consequently, when you don't take the bribe, there will be a threat to you because these people are hitmen. And even if you take the money, still there will be still a threat against you because the case won't be gone away. Unless, as we know, if they are given bail, they are going to be taken out to the same people. So hence I said the solution is you endure this, then we have a threat analysis. If possible, you work from the safe house under protection. That is how you can win this thing. And the team, they said there were 3, or there were 5, 2 are gone. I said you are less. You need to get more, those who can deal with the threat because you can't investigate the threat. Investigate the murder because according to the informant, this murder will come with more cases, will link with other cases. And you may not receive further cases. You concentrate on this because it's going to be a major investigation. So that is what I said. So the only thing, but it means the same thing that they will be hit, the threat is coming, but it's how it is phrased.
Okay.
Yes.
And then if we can go to file 1, divider 3, which is your short supplementary statement. There's an annexure that you provided there, which is RS 12. Are you file 1, yeah? General file 1. I think you could be in file 2. File 1 is your statement file.
I'm there, ma'am.
Are you at RS 12 on page 7?
Yes, I'm there.
This is also a statement that you provided the commission, which is an unsigned document that you said Sergeant Ndlela gave to you, and he said that this was a pre-prepared statement that was given to him, and that this statement had to be consistent with witness A's statement, the people that gave it to him. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Okay. He also, in this statement, I'm just dealing with it because this is what you had provided to the commission. At paragraph 3, he speaks about the meeting as well. On the following day, Thursday, 16 May 2024, we then proceeded to the SAP's head office, to the office of General Shabiri, where upon arrival, General Shabiri asked us if we were aware of the sensitiveness of the case that we are investigating. We then indicated that we were not that aware of the sensitiveness. General Shabiri then informed us that the case was very sensitive, and further, that the people who are linked to the suspects, they want to give us a bag of money, and that if we do not take that money, those people will kill us. See
Yes.
that?
Yes.
Now, you don't quibble with that part, even though it is part of the pre-prepared statement of Sergeant Ndlela. You
Yes.
okay. Then can we go to witness A's account of that, which is, if you go to,
Sorry, before you do that, what is the difference between the document you've just shown us, which is unsigned, and CJC 89, which appears to be the signed version of that same document?
yes, we're getting.
We're gonna get there. Okay.
Yes. This is, let me just deal with that first then, Commissioner. Go to General File 4, CJC 89.
Let me check.
It starts on page 1.
Oh, it's on page 1. It's 86. File 3. File 4.
File 4.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the signed statement of Sergeant Ndlela, which is